The Mongol Empire was a vast empire that existed during the 13th and 14th centuries. It was founded by Genghis Khan in 1206, and at its peak, it spanned across Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, making it one of the largest empires in history. Genghis Khan was born in 1162 in what is now Mongolia, into a noble family of the Borjigan tribe. His father, Yasugei, was a tribal chieftain, and his mother, Holun, was also from a prominent family. According to legend, Yasugei abducted Holun as a wife from a rival tribe, and she later gave birth to Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan's childhood was marked by hardship and adversity. When he was only 9 years old, his father was poisoned by a rival tribe, leaving Genghis Khan and his family vulnerable and without protection. They were forced to flee their homeland and live in exile, traveling across the harsh and unforgiving landscape of the Mongolian steppe. During his time in exile, Genghis Khan had to learn how to survive in a harsh and unforgiving environment. He learned how to ride horses and hunt, skills that would later become invaluable to him as a warrior and leader. He also had to learn how to fend for himself and his family, as they were often on the move and had to rely on their own resources for survival. Despite the challenges he faced, Genghis Khan showed early signs of leadership and strategic thinking. According to legend, he was once captured by a rival tribe and forced to work as a slave. However, he was able to escape and later returned to defeat the tribe in battle, using the knowledge he had gained while in captivity to outmaneuver his enemies. Genghis Khan's personal life and marriage history are not entirely clear due to the limited sources available from his time. However, it is known that he had several wives and concubines and that his marriages were often strategic alliances to strengthen political and military ties. He married his first wife, Borte, around the age of 16, and she remained his principal wife throughout his life. Borte was kidnapped by a rival tribe, and Genghis Khan rescued her, which earned him her loyalty and gratitude. Genghis Khan also had many other wives and concubines, including women from conquered tribes and territories. These marriages were often used to cement political and military alliances or to provide Genghis Khan with sons who could serve as future leaders of the empire. Genghis Khan was known to be fiercely protective of his wives and family, and he was said to have had a close relationship with his children. Genghis Khan's early years also saw him rise to prominence within his own tribe. After his father's death, he became the de facto leader of his clan and began to build alliances with other tribes in the region. He also showed a talent for military strategy, leading successful raids against rival tribes and establishing a reputation as a fearsome warrior. Genghis Khan united the various Mongol tribes under his leadership and began a campaign of conquest that would ultimately lead to the creation of an empire that stretched from China to Eastern Europe. Genghis Khan was a skilled warrior and leader who was able to rally his people and establish a military force that was feared throughout the region. Under Genghis Khan's leadership, the Mongol armies began to expand their territory, conquering neighboring tribes and nations and incorporating them into their empire. One key factor in the success of the Mongol armies was their use of innovative tactics, such as feigned retreats, the use of light cavalry, and the use of spies and informants to gather intelligence on their enemies. In addition to their military conquests, the Mongol Empire also benefited from strategic political alliances. Genghis Khan was able to forge alliances with other tribes and nations, such as the Khwarezmian Empire and the Jin dynasty, which helped to expand the Mongol Empire's influence and power. The Mongol Empire, led by Genghis Khan, conquered a vast number of territories during the 13th and 14th centuries. Some of the countries and regions conquered by the Mongol army include China, Korea, Central Asia, modern-day Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Kazakhstan, Persia, modern-day Iran, Russia, Hungary, Poland, Vietnam, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Iraq, Syria and Turkey. There were several factors that contributed to the Mongol army's high death tolls. One of the primary reasons was the Mongol practice of total war, which meant that they would not only target enemy soldiers but also civilians and infrastructure. This was done to weaken the enemy's ability to fight and to send a message that resistance was futile. Another factor was the use of psychological warfare, such as the use of terror tactics and the display of gruesome acts of violence. This was done to break the enemy's will to fight and to make them more susceptible to surrender. Additionally, The Mongols were known for their use of innovative military tactics and weapons, such as their horse archers, which allowed them to engage in hit-and-run tactics and surprise attacks that could quickly overwhelm an enemy force. The Mongol Empire fought many battles during its expansion, and some of the most significant ones include Battle of Zhongdu, 1215. This was the first major battle that Genghis Khan's army fought against the Jin dynasty of China. The Mongols besieged the city of Zhongdu, modern-day Beijing, and eventually captured it, marking the beginning of Mongol conquests in China. Battle of Khalkha River, 1223. This battle was fought between the Mongol Empire and the coalition of Russian princes. The Mongols won a decisive victory, and it allowed them to continue their conquests in Russia. Battle of Ain Jalut, 1260. The Mongol Empire faced off against the Mamluk Sultanate in Palestine. The Mamluks won the battle, marking the first time the Mongols were defeated in a large-scale battle. Battle of Mohi, 1241. The Mongols invaded Hungary and faced off against the combined armies of Hungary, Croatia, and their allies. The Mongols won a decisive victory, and it allowed them to continue their westward expansion. Battle of Yamen, 1279. The Mongol Empire invaded the southern Song dynasty of China and faced off against their navy. The Mongols won the battle, and it marked the end of the southern Song dynasty. Battle of Baghdad, 1258. The Mongol Empire invaded the Abbasid Caliphate and captured Baghdad, marking the end of the Caliphate and a significant turning point in Middle Eastern history. It is generally believed that Genghis Khan died on August 18, 1227, at the age of 65, while leading a military campaign in the western Xia region, now part of China. According to some accounts, Genghis Khan fell from his horse during a battle and was seriously injured. He then died several days later from his injuries. Other accounts suggest that he died from illness or exhaustion after years of leading military campaigns. After Genghis Khan's death, his body was taken back to Mongolia, where he was buried in an undisclosed location. The location of his tomb remains a mystery to this day, as the Mongols kept it a closely guarded secret in order to prevent his enemies from desecrating it. The Mongol Empire began to decline after the death of Genghis Khan in 1227. Although his successors continued to expand the empire, they were not able to maintain the same level of unity and control that Genghis had established. Several factors contributed to the fall of the Mongol Empire. Succession disputes. After the death of Genghis Khan, his empire was divided among his 4 sons, which led to a power struggle and infighting among the Mongol ruling class. This weakened the empire's ability to govern effectively. Overextension. The Mongol Empire became too large to effectively govern and control, and the Mongols became overextended in their conquests. This led to a strain on resources and a decline in military effectiveness. Economic troubles. The Mongol Empire relied heavily on trade and the tribute paid by conquered territories, but this system became strained as the empire expanded and became more difficult to govern. This led to economic troubles and a decline in the empire's wealth and power. External threats. The Mongol Empire faced external threats from other powers, such as the rise of the Ottoman Empire and the re-emergence of China under the Ming dynasty. These threats made it more difficult for the Mongols to maintain their control over conquered territories. By the mid-14th century, the Mongol Empire had fragmented into smaller states and was no longer a dominant world power. Despite our knowledge of the empire, there are still some mysteries and unanswered questions surrounding its rise and fall. Here are a few of the mysteries of the Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan's birth and early life. There is very little reliable information about Genghis Khan's early life before he became a military leader. Some sources suggest that he was born into a noble family, while others claim that he was the son of a blacksmith or a herder. The true story of his early life remains a mystery. Genghis Khan's tomb. After Genghis Khan's death, his body was taken back to Mongolia and buried in a secret location. The location of his tomb remains a mystery, as the Mongols kept it a closely guarded secret in order to prevent his enemies from desecrating it. The extent of Mongol military technology. The Mongol Empire was known for its military prowess and innovation, but the exact extent of their military technology is not fully understood. For example, some scholars believe that the Mongols may have used gunpowder in their military campaigns, although this is a topic of debate. The true cause of the empire's decline. the fall of the Mongol Empire is attributed to a number of factors, including succession disputes, overextension, and external threats. However, the true cause of the empire's decline remains a topic of debate among scholars. The Mongol Empire was a powerful and influential empire that left an indelible mark on history. Despite the reputation of the Mongol armies for their brutality and destruction, the empire was also known for its cultural and intellectual achievements, such as the promotion of trade and exchange, the advancement of medicine and science, and the creation of a unified legal code.